Looking back at it now, I still can't believe it. No matter what happened in that house, we held together somehow. Even though there was a monster living inside.
What do you mean, a monster?
I mean, he wasn't always that way. It happened over time.
Your father?
Yes, he was my father.
The first incident was discovered a few months ago, in the summer. Someone reported a dead body found in a diner off of Highway 100, near Echo Lake. There's a campsite a couple miles down, closer to the lake. We don't know what happened there. It looked like a massacre. All of the victims came from the town of Brookwood. About 2 months later, there were reports of missing students from Brookwood High School. So we started another investigation there after the one from the summer wrapped up.
What were the results from that investigation?
It remains unsolved.
But I think we have a lead.
What kind of lead?
We think Kai Anderson is a suspect.
You mean the high school kid we're detaining right now?
He might be lying about his age, but yes, we were able to trace texts from all the missing students to him. In all of the cases, he had them come to his house, and that's right before they disappeared.
So where does he live? Did you search his house?
We don't know, and he hasn't said.
Make a point of getting that information in your next interrogation session. Then, I want both of these cases wrapped up by the end of the year.
Yes, sir.
We should check the security tapes from the traffic lights along all the major roads, lining up with the times of the disappearances.
That's a great idea. You go check in with the IT department about that now, and I'll go ask him some more questions.
Will do.
Okay, so earlier you were talking about your father. I'd like to know more about that and what it has to do with the question at hand.
The question of the disappearing students.
Right.
The one I had something to do with?
We've already been over this. We traced a text back to you. The times match up. I just need to know if you had something to do with it or not.
You asked about my father.
I did.
Then I'll start from the beginning. We used to be happy, my father, mother, and me, I mean. It changed so quickly. My father would start to come home from work in a terrible mood. He told us that it was this coworker of his, but I didn't believe him. I followed him to work one day. As always, he was there until late into the night. I'm surprised my mother didn't notice I was gone for that long. My father told us that he worked at a diner, the reason why we couldn't move out into that cabin in the woods. That night, I discovered his lie. A lie that was hiding a terrible secret. What I saw that night changed me forever. and left images in my mind that I still, to this day, cannot forget. He experimented on people, some alive, some dead. I don't know exactly what he was doing to them or for what reason, but it must have been some form of torture. I think this work changed my father. A darkness began growing in his heart. A darkness that could not only change a person's mind, but their body as well. I tried to get home before he did, to warn my mother. But I was too late. I guess she knew about the lie too. Her suicide wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was the fact that she knew and left me alone with the monster. I don't know if he saw her dead, but he probably didn't care. He was so far gone. That night, he left. He never came back. I lived alone in that cabin, completely isolated from the rest of the world. After a few years, I couldn't take it anymore. I trashed the place and left. I used my father's car to drive away, far away from that cursed cabin. I drove to the closest town I could find, looking for a place to stay. And that's where my story ends.
You still haven't answered my question. What do you have to do with the missing students?
I said I'd start from the beginning. I guess I started too early. My real beginning in this town started at Brookwood High School. The day I saw that building, it's like everything came together. I finally knew my place in this world again. I wasn't going to be the estranged son of a murderer anymore. I was going to be a normal kid. My mind was set. And then, everything changed. Everyone's crazy about their first love. Amelia was mine. She was the first person in my life that I felt like I could depend on. Someone that wouldn't leave me. Someone that might stay with me forever. One night, she invited me to her house for dinner with her family. I know it might have been a bit premature, but I really felt like she was the one. I was completely assured of my decision. It was completely out of the blue. Her father had run away with another woman. She and her mother had to leave and move in with her grandmother. I couldn't handle it again. A person I loved leaving me. All alone to deal with a monster.
Kai, stop! What are you doing?
You can't leave me, Mom! Not again!
I'm not your mother. Get away from her.
I did my best work. And in the end, she stayed with me. After that, the more experiences I had, I was able to deal with them in my own way, the right way. I think after that, I figured out who I really was. Officer,
Yes?
I understand why I came to Brookwood.
And why is that?
Simple. To follow in my father's footsteps.
Sir, I have the results back from the IT department.
Come inside. Did they find anything?
Well, there's video footage from the days of the disappearances, but nothing that can amount to any sort of evidence.
What do you mean? They had to go somewhere.
Right, and here's the interesting part. There's no footage in the outer parts of the town. I mean, in areas like Brookwood Forest and the surrounding neighborhoods, it's all gone.
Wait, gone? Then there must have been a break in here. The station is the only place that stores surveillance footage.
Cameras must have been vandalized.
Go and inform Wilson of the new lead. I'm going to call the sheriff's office and request a unit go down there immediately and turn that area inside out. Jones!
Sir?
Call in the investigator. Brookwood Forest is now a crime scene.
I guess all this time I understood you, Dad. The darkness inside of us had always been there. All we had to do was find it. I'm glad that after all this time, we can be together again. Dad! You're gonna die for that.
You're the one that killed my friends, aren't you?
Oh, right. The dipshits who were camping out in my family's home. Wasn't the blonde one your friend?
You're gonna pay for their deaths, as well as those poor kids from my old high school you murdered.
Wait, I remember you. You were one of the first girls after Amelia that I talked to. I guess you didn't fall for me like I'd hoped you would.
I knew you were trouble. I made sure Liz knew too, so she'd be safe.
So that's why she wouldn't talk to me, because you were always so protective. But you couldn't keep her safe forever.
Maybe, but this time, I'm going to keep all of Brookwood safe, from both of you.
We'll see about that.
What the?
I'm going to kill you, and when I do, there will be no one left who knows the full story. No one that can stand in the way of my mission.
And what is that?
To destroy this cursed town.
Good thing she has backup now, right?
Where the hell?
Time to die. Man, I'm so glad that it's over with. I knew something was wrong the second we got here.
Can we go home now?
Let's go home.